Și? Suntem live? Da? Nu? Eroare ceva? E când uităm la Doctor Disrespect până una alta. Hai să vedem. Că nu-mi dau seama.
If you see any food, let me know. Food or drink.
Okay. Okay. I think there might have been, I'm gonna check these bodies again. I think there was some on it actually.
Păi, pare bine. Ia.
Gotta do some organizing here.
Okay.
Movement up by me, north.
Okay. I'm on my way.
Yeah. Got him.
Player?
Încă
Yeah.
sunt așa.
It was a real player?
Yeah, it's a real player.
Hai să vedem.
There might be another one outside.
Okay.
Maybe we get infiltrate on the wall. Definitely AI on the bridge. Right in front of you. Nice. Got a guard across the street. I'm gonna chuck a nade. Oh, never mind. It's a smoke in it. You want to have that happen.
Ok.
He came in right over here. That's his body.
Okay.
Teoretic pare bine. Păi... Hai, salut! Bine ai venit pe stream. Deocamdată nu e nimeni.
Maybe we just
Dar eu îmi fac încălzirea.
Ok.
Că cine știe, dacă vine cineva între timp. Păi nu? A, ce fain. Ok, deci acum ne uităm la Doctor Disrespect. Ne uităm vreo 5 minute așa să vedem ce se întâmplă. După care am pregătit aici o serie de videouri pe care le putem urmări, un playlist așa frumos.
It's loading up a mag.
Care sper să ne placă. Da, fain. Un pic mai tare. Așa. Dacă există probleme la audio sau e prea tare sau e prea încet ceva, ori ce ar fi, îmi ziceți și se rezolvă. Da? Foarte simplu și ușor. Facem exact așa cum trebuie. Așa. Chiar mai sus un pic.
I need to open up 5 more unopened cases.
Aha. Ah, super. Asta e. Da.
You check all those bodies in there?
Ei, așa da. Ia uite ce
For the most part, yeah. Especially the guy,
Foarte
the
bine.
player that you killed. He's got a headset
Ok,
on him.
ne
You
uităm
wanna
5
take
minute la
I'm good on that.
Doctor Disrespect
This guy has an
și
energy drink.
it. Ooh.
ne simțim bine.
I think I could take that.
Comentați.
I just need one more, I think.
Yeah. Chat, please.
Okay.
Let's chat.
Has to be a food
We're
item.
watching Doctor
Yeah. 3
Disrespect.
drinks or food.
It's on
Just a little bit.
the
So I have
boss's
a
body
playlist,
with the beret right there.
and
at
we
the
can
doorway.
watch that later.
This guy.
5 minutes we'll watch this. Yeah, so the target is 10 views.
Does that
That's
give it to me?
the target.
Does that count?
That doesn't. No.
It's a medical item.
Man,
think,
if I hit
actually,
10
is what-
views.
cotton ball.
I'll find something.
Condensed milk here. This body.
Okay.
That's gotta count.
Scadu.
If something is offset, my voice or the video,
We got 7
please tell
minutes,
me.
so
Let
we
me
gotta
know.
leave.
If my voice is
Okay.
too
Gotta be nice
strong
and knock out
or the
everything.
video is too strong, please tell me.
Seeing if we can find anything else here.
That's it.
You don't need anything else, or you do need one more?
No, I mean we can go to the extraction on the way. I could loot like 4 more crates.
Oh, okay. So that's just in general. It doesn't have to be at this
Yeah.
little farm
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
just on the Malco. Yeah. That's not buggy.
You got anything here?
So
Sure, you got
far,
some
so
stuff
good.
happening.
I have some at small farm.
Okay.
I gotta go to the small hall in the farm. And there's yeah. I
Okay.
think there's a safe there too. But really,
Let's do it.
I mean, our exit's super far. Like the only one I think that we actually can use is the
So we
highway
have
all the way at
reached
the end.
2 views.
Oh, that's right.
Am ajuns la 2
So I think maybe
vizionări.
we should just say screw the thing and go right there.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes, huh?
Yeah, we just gotta. I think we gotta go for it because if we got in a fight or something,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
be in
true.
trouble.
Ok, super.
Couple items in here.
Oh man, my guy's out of. He's about to dehydrate.
Oh, is that right? I think I have a water here. I could put in here.
Yeah, yeah.
I just put it in this business suitcase. There's a cotton thing that's worth 75,000. If you want it, it takes up a lot of.
Yeah, perfect timing. Literally was about to dehydrate right then. I mean that is.
Yeah, so we can go back later, but for now, I think let's see
Need
this.
one more
So,
container.
I've made a playlist.
That's
Am
it.
făcut un playlist care
That's all the missions for farm.
cred că o să fie interesant să ne uităm la
Nice
toate astea.
introduction raid.
Andrew
I
Huang,
like the storm
the
though.
most
The game looks
innovative
really.
music tools of 2025. Ok. Deci, la asta ne uităm acum. Mamă, asta e cu rezoluție 4K! 4K! Yeah. Hai să vedem. Oh yeah, so it's so cool. This guy is so cool.
Hey, it's Andrew Huang, and today we're going to be looking at some really interesting music software and hardware and other, and I think there will be something really inspiring for everybody in here. These are all finalists and winners of this year's MIDI Innovation Awards who are sponsoring this video. Their mission is to celebrate innovative MIDI products and accelerate the adoption of MIDI 2.0. All the finalists were decided by a public vote, and then a panel of experts with very different backgrounds went through a ranked voting process to figure out who the winners should be. I wasn't part of the voting, but I had a call with these folks, and they're all so thoughtful and they care so much about music and music tech. So without further ado, here's the first category, commercial hardware products. First up, we've got the VSN1 controller from Intech. This is the newest addition to their grid lineup of MIDI controllers. Any of their controllers can magnetically snap together, and then they're all powered off the same USB. I'm not sure what the limit is there, but I've had a lot of them.
Yeah, so the LED are blue. They sunt albastre.
connected together. I've actually been working with Intex stuff for way before the MIDI Innovation Awards contacted me. I love them for adding extra control to my Electron groove boxes. And these are magnetic on all sides, so you can mix and match them however you want and configure your setup exactly as you like. And there are no proprietary drivers. It's just plug and play if you want to do basic MIDI mapping, but you can also get coding if you want and really customize their behavior for your specific needs. Next up is the Tonova Digital Harmonica, and I'm not gonna lie,
Muzicuță digitală.
when I was presented with this, I just thought like maybe it's kind of silly to have a digital harmonica, and the moment I played it, it completely changed my mind. It is so sensitive. I feel like if you gave this to someone blindfolded, they would have no idea that they're playing a digital harmonica. It responds very sensitively to your breath, and it also responds differently to your exhales versus your inhales, which of course you probably know is an important component of playing harmonica. Discussing with the judges, we thought this might be the smallest MIDI breath controller in the world. Couldn't think of or find another one. And you're not limited to just harmonica because it's got a bunch of different built-in sounds, but also it will output MIDI, so you can just use it as a breath controller. And then there are things that a digital harmonica do that a normal harmonica can't, like you can set it to monophonic. So no matter how you're blowing, you're just gonna get precisely one note at a time. This is my harmonica technique. There are built-in effects, which might be handy if you're gigging.
Da, n-aș lua așa ceva. I wouldn't take something
With this, and then
I wouldn't buy something like that. I wouldn't have. Why should I have? I have a perfectly good harmonica. So
something else you can do with a digital harmonica that you can't do with a real harmonica is retune it. So you can fully change the key that it's in, but you can also do fine tuning if you need to adjust in a situation where maybe people aren't in perfect concert pitch. And the winner in the commercial hardware category is Native Instruments with their Complete Control S-Series Mark III MIDI controllers. This is the 88 key version. It has one innovation that I think is the first in the world, where it's a hammer action keybed with polyphonic aftertouch. So that's never been seen before, and then there are a few other things going for it. In the world of keyboard MIDI controllers, I mean, they've been around for so long, they've been iterated on forever. I don't know that we're gonna see massive amounts of innovation here, but I do think these are some of the best keyboard controllers we have ever seen. I've been using NI stuff for years, decades, more than one decade. You know what, this is a lot to rest on my knees. Let's cut to B-roll and I'll put this away. They've got nice grippy and heavy duty pitch and modulation wheels, which I prefer over the keyboards that do those with touch strips, but touch strips are great too, and so they've also given you a touch strip. And then there are a number of features that Native Instruments has done for years, like the really tight integration with their plugins. The LEDs above the keys are really nice, and they can show you different scales or different ways that contact instruments are configured. And then as one final thing that's new, it is MIDI 2.0 ready. So MIDI 2.0 is new. It's not fully integrated or widely adopted across music tech, but for devices and software that do support it, the Control series can take advantage of that bidirectional communication, the higher resolution, profiles, property exchange, so it should be future-proof for a long time. The next category is hardware prototypes. These are non-commercial products, although some of them might become commercial one day, but they just show tremendous innovation. So the first finalist is Database. Love the name. This was created by a musician, Scott Mulvihill, who's outfitted an upright bass with all kinds of LEDs and MIDI triggers. So it runs on an Arduino and can be fully reconfigured with code. It has a lot of capacitive touch triggers and can send MIDI as well as receive MIDI for things like triggering the LEDs in sync with music happening in Ableton. If you watch Scott perform with this, it's really amazing. There's just this beautiful integration in having this hybrid setup that I don't think would be possible if you were trying to play upright bass and just have another MIDI controller around. Definitely check out his work. The next prototype is Mugo, which is a device that was built expressly for the purpose of making music making as accessible as possible. So it can respond to the slightest movements, like even the blink of an eye, and these gestures can trigger musical events. So for people with severe physical limitations who were previously excluded from playing traditional instruments, this provides a way that they can play music. Mugo is aiming to be as accessible as possible. It just outputs Bluetooth MIDI that can be assigned to anything, and they want to make it as affordable as they can. And the winner in this category is the circle guitar, an absolute feat of creativity, engineering, design. It's got this wheel that can spin to pluck the strings, but you don't play it with your hands. It's controlled by a motor, so it can go ridiculously fast. It can spin really accurately and get all kinds of different rhythms. This is just on loan to me right now. I had a chance to sit down yesterday with its creator, Anthony, and there's gonna be a full video on my channel about this instrument because it is so unique. The possibilities that this mechanism allows. You can control the wheel speed with MIDI, you can sequence it from a DAW, but then beyond that, there are extra features on this guitar. There are all these buttons and knobs that are just MIDI mappable. You can assign them to whatever you want because the guitar also outputs MIDI, and the pickup is hexaphonic. So there's actually one pickup per string. They all output separately, and you can get those signals individually in something like Ableton and process them differently. And right on the guitar, you've got a volume fader for each string. So we were playing around with this yesterday, came up with so many more uses than I thought were even possible with this concept, and that full video will be coming to my channel in a little bit. But for now, on to commercial software products. GeoShred Studio comes from the legend Jordan Rudess, and I've been playing with the app version of this for years, and it's so good. It's so expressive. It's so fun to play. It sounds amazing. So with Studio, GeoShred is now a plugin, and there's some interesting flexibility here because you can just use it as a plugin and get all of the sounds, or you can connect your iPad to it and use the app to play it via MPE, so you're doing, you know, all your pitch slides on the iPad, but also you don't have to use the GeoShred plugin. The iPad can just be an MPE controller now, and you can record MPE data into your DAW for use with any MPE virtual instrument. Definitely check out GeoShred. It is so enjoyable and expressive to play. I don't know of any other app instrument that feels this good to interact with or that sounds this good, honestly. Next up, we have Gig Performer, which is a brilliant solution for live musicians. So if you have a lot of sounds that you like in software, or if you're just wanting to tour with a way pared down rig, Gig Performer might be for you. It's basically a super stable platform for hosting your virtual instruments. You don't need to depend on a DAW, which, let's be honest, sometimes they just misbehave, and sometimes they add more latency than necessary. There's a wiring view, so you can connect all the different elements of your setup like a modular system. And then there are widgets that allow you to control software and hardware parameters using MIDI or OSC from pretty much any source like pedals or touchscreens or other applications. You can automate things. You can have different mappings that you swap between. So you could show up to a gig with just a laptop and MIDI controller and run Gig Performer and have access to all the sounds you could ever want, you know, based on your VST library. And you're not messing around in the DAW, and it's just super stable. And the winner in the commercial software products category is Native Instruments with Contact 8. And in the call with the judges, we were discussing, you know, of course, we get a lot of votes and how innovative is it really? But the point that came up was how many other pieces of software can you think of that have made such a breadth of amazing quality sounds available and accessible to people the way that Contact has? And as well, it is a platform that other developers can build on for releasing their own virtual instruments. So it is doing things that not a lot of other software is doing, and they're still continuing to come up with some new ideas. So new to Contact 8, they've got these tools called chords and phrase. So the chords are collections of chord progressions. Each preset is 7 chords, and they're repeated across the white keys in every octave. So you get different voicings. You can randomize. You can humanize. The chord names are shown, so that can help you learn how different types of chords are constructed. And then you can also drag a progression or an individual chord as MIDI to your DAW. So you're not stuck working in Contact if you happen to come up with something that you want to use with another virtual instrument. For the phrase tool, you've got the same basic setup and features as chords, but here you can create a lot of variation in the phrases by rotating and inverting the notes. You can randomize and invert either globally or for just a selected slot within a pattern.
Da, poți să faci și randomize și când faci randomize să duci aiurea, dar câteodată poți să nimerească ceva.
There are some editing options, and you can also drag any of this MIDI to your DAW. So just an interesting way to generate inspiration. It's a lot more than just a pack of MIDI melodies. Contact 8 also adds Leap, which is a feature that allows you to trigger different sounds, which can be the ones that come with it or your own. They can be quantized loops, and these are all triggered on the white keys, whereas on the black keys, you get momentary effects that you can apply, and there's also some macros on knobs. So again, a fast way to get get inspiration through playing and experimenting and just getting very different results quickly because of everything that's at your fingertips. Now let's look at software prototypes. First up is M2TM Notes, or MIDI to the Max Notes. And actually I just had a look and it looks like this is now released as a product. It's not a prototype anymore, so it's available if you're interested in it. And it's pretty cool. It allows you to type MIDI into Ableton using note names, chord symbols. There's syntax for duration, velocity, gate, probability, and lots of other parameters that are supported in Ableton. So if you learn the handful of commands that make up the script, you can generate MIDI much faster than you could by clicking and drawing it. You could also write ideas down when you're away from the computer and then paste it in. You can even do live coded music with it because you can let Ableton loop a clip and you can be typing and updating the MIDI in real time. And beyond that, there are advanced features like arpeggiation, chord strumming, automatic voice leading, swing, scale quantization, drum pattern generation. You can randomize all note attributes. And you can even generate random harmonies. Next up is Connect Through MIDI, which is a program that allows you to connect up to 10 MIDI controllers that can all control the same thing and interact with each other for interesting collaborative possibilities. And actually, you can run multiple instances of the app. So if your computer can handle it, you can connect a lot more than just 10. So it can allow people to access each other's MIDI data and use it in different ways, and as well send their MIDI to control something on someone else's device. So like I could be receiving chords that someone is playing and run it through my arpeggiator. Or I can take my joystick and use it to control someone else's filter cutoff. So it could lead to some really interesting setups in jams or studio sessions or classrooms. The winner in this category is Playtonic, which is a free app that's out, although they say they're developing a lot of new features that they have in mind. And they describe it as a musical fidget toy. It's very satisfying with the haptic feedback that you get as these objects bounce around inside different geometric shapes. It's like a 3D version of the Tombola sequencer, if you know that from the OP1, which a lot of people are a big fan of that sequencer. It's just very playful with interesting physics built in. I feel like the app is a little bit limited right now. You can record a loop, you can set different scales, and then there's just a few different choices of sounds, but they are planning on adding MIDI output, so eventually you'd be able to use Playtonic for all that kind of quirky, arrhythmic sequencing fun on anything that accepts MIDI. In the MIDI 2.0 category, two of the finalists were Connect Through MIDI and Contact 8, which we've already talked about. So let's just get to the winner, Azatec. This is maybe a little behind the scenes or nerdy, but I think the implications are very exciting for a lot of musicians. They're developing technology for keybeds that will make it more affordable and non-proprietary to do positional sensing on a keyboard. So if you like what is possible with the Expressive E Osmos or the Arturia Polybrute 12, where the full travel of the key is sensitive and can be assigned to different parameters and is very expressive and fun to play with. This development from Azatec looks really promising because it will make it possible for any keyboard manufacturer to include that type of expression. Other solutions to this have typically involved optical sensors or Hall sensors, which uses electromagnetic fields and detecting the changes in those. And Azatec is working with inductive sensing, which is a different thing with magnetic fields. I'm not knowledgeable in this. And what they're doing, they believe, leads to a better output signal and is more affordable and more accessible. The last category is the artistic or visual project or installation. The first finalist is 8-Note. This is a very fun looking MIDI sequencer that is very tangible and physical to interact with. I haven't experienced any of the projects in this category. I have to go off of the videos, but it looks like you place something like ball bearings into these sliding contraptions. And so you can compose rhythms by the placement of those little objects, but you can also slide them around to kind of reshuffle what rhythms are happening. I thought my modular system.
That's visually that's so good.
System with like physical buttons and switches was so fun and interactive, but now I'm like, oh, I wish I could just like pick up the whole sequence and move it. That would be fun. So I guess that's the big thing with 8-Note is
oh, so you can move the sequence in another place, and it could. Okay, now I
even
get-
more physicality
Wow.
with MIDI sequencing. Monotype MIDI is an app that converts words to notes in real time. They also put together a really cool oscilloscope visualization of what is being fed into the MIDI generator. So they came up with a translation layer between the letters in use and the length of words and converting that to MIDI, which leads to interesting results that have a bit more structure to them than a lot of typical randomly generated MIDI, which can be kind of all over the place. But because language and the alphabet already have these inherent structures, feeding monotype MIDI a bunch of text will produce something that, to my ears, feels a little more musical than just any random signal. And the winner in this category, again, features
Interesting.
Jordan Rudess, and it is Jambot. This is an approach to live performance that blends human playing with AI-driven improvisation. And in this case, the AI was just trained on Jordan's playing. So he's kind of duetting with himself. And they put together this beautiful robot backdrop thing that's like leaves that turn in accordance with what the AI is producing. And there's also lighting cues that go along with it. So the audience can really tell when the AI is doing something versus when Jordan is doing something. And, you know, we're at the very beginning of what is going to happen with AI and music. And I think here is something that we haven't seen really before. And that I hope most people would agree is not unethical in the way that some of the things that train on musicians can be. It definitely feels like we're just glimpsing the potential. Really interested to hear your thoughts on any of these things. Drop a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I know that you came here for tech news. I know that you didn't come for review.
Yeah, I did. So, what's going on with my stream? It looks like there's something wrong with it. Ceva s-a întâmplat. Um, yeah, so it's interesting. Something is not going as I want it to go. Oh well, now it's back, so it's good. We can we? Okay, we can go live again. So, sorry for the interruption. Now we will watch. Acum o să ne uităm la Tech Linked. So we'll watch Tech Linked. I'll take an Android PC, please. An Android personal computer. That's interesting. Let's see.
News of Walmart's in-house brand baked goods. That's for the show I do after this one. They're all terrible, by the way, on purpose. Even they don't want you to buy them. Why do you keep buying them? They're like the plastic food you see in IKEA. You're not supposed to eat them. Anyway, Android laptops and desktop computers are indeed coming, as confirmed by Google exec Rick Osterloh at Qualcomm Snapdragon Summit event this morning, after years of intense yearning for such devices by people like me, who know full well that it would be just like a normal PC, but worse. What's wrong with me? Somehow I know the Samsung Dex people are already yelling at me in the comments. I said I wanted it. Well, Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon doesn't think it would be worse. He's seen this PC version of Android, and he, a man with a bit of financial interest in the sale of Qualcomm-powered Android devices, thinks it's incredible. I trust him. Look at this bro moment between these two. Rick smiling, it's like he built Android for PC in his garage. This official confirmation follows Google's president of the Android ecosystem, Samir Samat, casually mentioning to TechRadar earlier this year that they're combining Chrome OS and Android. Yep. Just, you know, combining them, figured, Well, today, Samir confirmed that this synthesis is happening next year. Yes! I mean, I don't care. Qualcomm also announced their second-gen X-series laptop processors, the Snapdragon X2 Elite and X2 Elite Extreme. The Extreme is mostly identical to the vanilla X2 Elite, minus some higher clocks, but is significantly different than the X2 Elite, the other one, with 6 less cores. Are you confused by my explanation? You should tweet at Qualcomm about it. Because what the is this? Having learned nothing from their previous round of obscenely overhyped marketing for the first gen X series, which otherwise were pretty cool, Qualcomm claims these unreleased chips are the fastest and most efficient processors for Windows PCs, period. I'm not gonna touch it. Steam briefly hosted malware earlier this week when an update to the game Block Blasters introduced malicious code. Now it turns out Steam doesn't necessarily validate the updates to its otherwise verified games. Though it's expected under 500 users were affected, the scam made headlines after Latvian Pump.Fun streamer and cancer patient Rivo Plavnieks, aka Rastaland, had $32,000 in crypto stolen after a 7-hour stream, which included playing Block Blasters. Now, this isn't even the first time this year a game has been pulled from Steam for hosting or redirecting to malware, but Plavniek's heart-wrenching circumstances elevated the story to mainstream media. Fortunately, that lost cryptocurrency was actually made up by donations from the community. But for its part, Valve has delisted Block Blasters and seems to have notified users who played while the malicious build was active, but hasn't mentioned any plans to scan updates for malware. Because is that like a skin you can get in Counter-Strike or something? They're pretty busy. NVIDIA will invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI, raising antitrust concerns, as the biggest provider of AI accelerators takes a massive stake in one of the biggest AI companies. Now, although the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill took steps to limit the power of AI regulation, the Department of Justice did say last week that protecting competition supports the AI innovation it wants to encourage, so it might be taking a little look-see at this deal. OpenAI isn't wasting any time, though, in putting the promised funding to good use. It's working with Oracle and SoftBank to build 5 new data centers for its Stargate
So Matrix is real. Oracle.
initiative that will bring the total planned capacity to 7 gigawatts. 7.7, no, just 7, which Wired says is roughly the power consumption of 7 nuclear reactors. Well, if the AI bubble isn't bursting quite yet, could we at least get some AI tools that are actually useful? I mean, at least Google is still trying to do something interesting with their new Google Labs Mix Board. It's a concepting board app now in beta, which is similar to Adobe's Firefly boards or FigJam. And it's meant to explore visual ideas, generate mood boards, and apparently put googly eyes on a bunch of birds. There is also Mind State Design Labs, a company with an AI model that makes psychoactive drugs without the trip. That may not sound like a thing that psychedelic drug enjoyers would enjoy, but apparently psychedelics are useful for treating severe mental health conditions like PTSD, and literally meeting your fears face to face in another dimension isn't considered productive treatment. So it's a good thing. It's good for the people. Maybe not for my weekend plans, but it's good for the people. And it's even better for our sponsor, Cook Unity. Now imagine you're exhausted. You don't have time to cook dinner tonight. Ah, geez. Oh, wait, what's that? A knock at your door? You shuffle over there and open it to discover what? A delicious looking meal freshly prepared by professional chefs that you can heat up and enjoy in as little as 2 minutes? Now wake up. It's real. Well, not yet. You gotta sign up for Cook Unity first, and you can get 50% off, but hold on to that. Cook Unity is the first chef-to-consumer platform with meals created by top chefs, including Food Network alums, James Beard Award winners, and acclaimed restaurateurs. We're talking shrimp and chorizo paella by Chef Jose Garces, Moroccan chickpea tagine by Chef Lina El Kousi, red wine braised short ribs with a carrot puree by Chef Marc Forjan, and more than 350 others that you can choose yourself. Or just put in your preferences, ingredients you'd rather avoid, and Cook Unity will choose for you. Got other dinner plans? You can skip deliveries, pause, or cancel at any time. They're flexible. Go to cookunity.com/tech50 or click the link in the description, use our code TECH50, and you'll get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity meals.
So that means they eat for free. Because they're doing this sponsorship thingy. Cool.
Wow.
Wish I could have that.
Unlike Walmart's house-branded baked goods, these Quick Bits are made with 100% pure news. No, they don't have any paint thinner in them, which seems like an easy call to make. Microsoft has introduced a microfluidic cooling breakthrough. They're claiming a 3 times improvement in pulling heat away from the package, the chip, by first cutting hair-sized channels in the silicon and then running coolant through them. They use AI to map the hotspots and direct the fluid. So we're officially at the point where AI is physically improving itself, kind of, and it's
Right.
only a matter of time before the missiles are launched. But did you know that if you have the right electric vehicle,
Don't say
soon
that.
you could give back some of that sweet, delicious power juice back to the grid from whence it came? 3 Ford F-150 Lightning owners participated in a residential vehicle to grid, or V2G, pilot program this summer, offloading unused electricity between the hours of 5 and 9 p.m. and earning participants up to $1,000 over the course of the multi-month trial. Not bad for doing nothing but plugging in. Now, for anyone who's privileged
Right.
enough to charge their EV for free at work, keep your eye on this one.
Okay.
Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I sell my company's electricity back to the grid to help with my expensive vehicle payments. Hey, speaking of power,
Interesting.
thanks to Logitech's new solar-powered keyboard, you don't need an electric vehicle to feel like you're helping the planet. The new K980 can use the sun or artificial light of at least 200 lux to charge the battery for up to 4 months of use in complete darkness, which should appeal to many of you. It costs $100 and has an AI button that pulls up Copilot or Gemini, depending on your OS, because those are tools that use a lot of power. The reason any of this matters is the predecessor of this product, Logitech's K760, came out in 2012. For whoever's been waiting to upgrade, I guess it's finally time. And Origin Code is a new player in the DDR5 game, and they're off to a great start with the world's fastest high-capacity RAM modules. But what really caught my eye is this wild active cooling setup that you can mount on top of the Vortex modules. Hello performance, goodbye tower cooler compatibility. But apparently it's worth it, because they're claiming nearly 40% more heat dissipation over standard heat spreaders. And now it's time for me to spread my wings. This little bird's gonna fly the coop for now. But don't worry, I'll be back on Friday for more tech news. Caw!
Hidden in this mountain is
Ok. Stop. Un pic de pauză. Deci am ajuns la Mr. Beast. Da? $1 versus $1 versus 1 billion nuclear bunker. Ok. I'll let you with Mr. Disrespect. I'll be back very, very, very soon.
Okay. What else I got here? Can I open this? I gotta get a backpack. Why do they gotta charge so much for backpacks?
Good question, isn't it?
Okay. Now a weapon. Is this where I bring out my sharpshooting weapon? I don't know. I think we do. Champs, we can bring out the custom. The custom revolver. There it is. Ammo. Let's take a look. Oh, ammo's not too bad, actually. I could do that. Level 4, level 4. I almost feel like I get a updated headset here. Just because.
Let's see.
Commander. Face cover? No. Meds. Let's go over to the meds. It's organized. Andrew, thank you for the $20 Rumble rant. $20 for the 20 mil inside of the arena. We got 22 million on Rumble right now. Oh my God.
Let's see what we can do and kit this bad boy out.
There must have been a host, and I appreciate it. If not, are we front page? Maybe both. I don't know. Okay. If you guys are just flooding into Rumble, we're playing Arena. Breakout Infinite. We just checked out the new Storm event. Farm. It looks really good. At 240 frames per second, are you kidding me? Now we're going back to the Armory. Let me just let you guys know, the Armory, it's high stakes, high rewards. Get in. You know, we don't have to go to the Armory. I don't know if you have any missions. We can come back to the Army. I got some at Villa, but it's up to you. It's up to you. You're ready to play ball today, huh? You really are.
I actually like that. I like that that raining map that we actually were on.
Okay. I heard there's some good loot there, potentially. I'm down.
Maybe we should jump back there and see what's up.
Okay. Let me see what I'm missing here. I don't think I'm missing anything. Whatever you want to go, I'm down. You kind of lead us today. How about that? You know, like take us wherever you want. I'm in.
Okay, I like that. Real fast, what I need is, let's see. Just trying to throw some meds in here that I can use.
Just FYI, I did get another kill, so it's 3-2.
All right, 3-2.
I got this custom lever action rifle that someone donated with a configuration, and so I'm gonna take it for a spin. Supposedly it hits heavy.
I like it.
$33 million watching this game now, says Chris. 33 million inside of the arena, whether you're in the Rumble section with the green sirens and right the claps, non-stop claps on, woo! Or you're in the YT section, the white and red flags. Mr. Granchi, welcome. Oh, you're going with a SCAR and a 3-time scope?
Yeah, it's a 1x4 on there. You got an ACOG on that lever action, huh? Mm-hmm. That might be fun. Yeah, someone was using that the other day when we were playing. I killed one of the guys. He had that. I mean, he was running around like a maniac with that thing.
Yeah, and the gold bullets aren't. They're not as expensive either.
Cât de mare.
They're like 600.
E aproape jumătate de ecran, Dr. Disrespect. Eu sunt acolo,
It's not going to be. You're not going to use as many.
Yep.
Oh well.
No.
Yeah, that's why that's the budget, killer right there.
Someone said focal point. Do you have focal point on? I don't even know what that means.
You have no idea what they're talking about. All right, 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, you better keep. We gave you some confidence on that first one.
I think you should get a poll started over there, Doc, on who the chat thinks gonna take the victory today.
Champs, who's gonna take the victory? By the way, we have an $20 Rumble rant and a $5 Rumble rant. Can we get both in the chat?
Da, ok. Am rămas la Mr. Beast. Da. N-am văzut pe ăsta. Pentru cine a văzut, îmi pare rău. va trebui să suportați. You will have to endure.
Hidden in this mountain is a $1 billion nuclear bunker.
We're 2,000 feet underground inside of a mountain.
And it can survive the biggest atomic bombs ever made. And I'm going to show you the difference.
So the VFX of Mr. Beast's video are going from up to super up, then to beyond the sky. So no wonder with that many money, much money.
Between this $50 million nuclear bunker, this $30 million bunker, and everything in between, starting with this $1 bunker.
$1 bunker. Bă, cum adică? $1? We have 4 viewers. Actually, we have 2 now, but in total, 4 viewers. 6 more to go, and we've reached our target, right? So that's cool. That's so cool. I really hope that we reach 10 views for our first live stream on this channel. It will be so cool. I will be so grateful. It's not a big achievement. It's like this $1 bunker. But it will do just fine for me. Yeah. Come on. We can do it. Come on.
Feel safe. Let's see what's inside. Oh, it's wet. I'm gonna give you guys a tour of this bunker. The tour is over. It's basically a shipping container buried underground.
And already been.
Which would explain why they sold it to me for $1.
I mean, it looks like it's already after the explosion.
Do you think this bunker would survive a bomb?
No.
Let's find out. Drop the bomb!
Wait, what?
Oh, no.
The bunkers get crazier as we go. Let's head to the next one.
Was that a real bomb? Was that real?
Next is the $1 million.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. So, back.
Explain why they
to
sold it to me for $1.
I mean, it looks like it's already after the explosion.
Do you think this bunker would survive a bomb?
Again, I wanted to see that again anyhow. So
No.
Let's find out. Drop!
I just forgot to switch the scenes. A rookie mistake. It's my first live on this channel, so don't expect too much.
Wait, what?
The bunkers get crazier as we go. Let's head to the next one.
Next is the $1 million bunker. It was
Okay.
originally built to shoot missiles and survive a nuclear apocalypse far underground. But how do you even get inside? Well, after descending countless stairs and opening a 7,000-pound door,
Why is 7,000 pounds so heavy?
you reach the heart of the bunker.
Whoa.
This kind of looks like Star Wars.
This room is where they would launch the missile from. This whole facility is designed to withstand a nuclear attack and then respond.
The floor we're standing on.
Wow. Wow. So that is something. That is something. Wow.
It's actually suspended like a giant platform hanging from the ceiling above.
These 8 springs are the only thing holding all of us up right now.
It's crazy to believe that 50 years ago, this used to be like a missile command center.
But now, this man has turned it into a hidden fortified house. that's ready for the end of the world. How did the government let you buy this?
Dude, there's a bathtub.
How's the IQ of my friends compared to your normal guests?
I think it's lower, yeah. We're gonna go 2 floors down. This is the lowest point.
We are now 5 stories underground.
So, kitchen, entertainment area. But the best part about this is a club.
Whoa! This guy actually throws parties 5 stories underground.
Oh, wow.
That Nolan is probably not invited to.
So I don't normally show people this, like,
Whoa.
no one sees this.
But he actually took us to a secret part of the bunker, to the nuclear silo, where decades ago,
Wait. More information. What is this? Ce-i asta? În urmă, creatorii trebuie să aibă cel puțin 16 ani pentru a putea să transmită în stream live YouTube. Persoane cu vârste între 13 și 15 ani. Alte funcții. Păi bine, dar... Adică... Păi eu nu mă prind, deci nu pot să mă uit la videouri pe YouTube în timp ce fac live stream. Sunt eu aici, trebuie să mă fac un pic mai mare. Should I make myself a bit bigger? There. How about now? Huh? Is this okay? No, yeah, it's not destined. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So what's wrong? What is wrong? I'm not sure what is going on. So, deci nu am voie să mă uit la video ăsta? Despre asta e vorba?
real nuclear missile was stored inside.
No. Jimmy, come in here.
Whoa. Wait, what is this?
Is that safe over there?
No.
Wait, no, Carl, he said it's not. How bad would it be if we turned the lights off?
I mean, I actually don't know how we... Oh, dude. This is really scary.
I can't even see anything. What's crazy is we're just getting started. The bunkers later in this video are insane.
They just keep getting bigger and more expensive. But if you were going to try to build a bunker yourself, it might look like the one in this backyard, where secretly hidden beneath our feet is a bunker worth $3 million.
Follow me to this creepy shed.
Oh. Going into a bunker someone built in their backyard.
This is crazy. Whoa, this is awesome.
In terms of security, you've got like a meter of concrete above you. Other than a safe house, it is kind of a museum for my YouTube creations.
If you're wondering why this bunker is worth $3 million, it's because of this YouTuber's collection of insane and dangerous weapons.
That's a backpack flamethrower.
This guy's like a real-life Tony Stark. I mean, look at this wrist-mounted rocket launcher.
Fires knives and has a taser in it.
And a machine gun with a chainsaw.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Don't break into this bunker.
You did mention fire earlier. So,
Yeah, so... Se pare că nu vrea să mă lase. Nu vrea să mă lase să mă uit la așa ceva. Nu vrea să mă lase. Și dacă nu vrea să mă lase, atunci eu nu o să mă uit la MrBeast. Da? Ok. Au detectat faptul că mă uit la un video care aparține altcuiva. Ok, MrBeast se știe că e mega cunoscut, dar nu înțeleg poate nu înțeleg eu politica lor foarte bine. Și atunci um, mă întrebă ce mi-apare. Păi asta mi-apare, că nu... Aproape că nu mă lasă să mă uit și mă amenință că o să-mi dea YouTube-ul jos. Sau mă rog, că o să-mi închidă streaming-ul sau ceva de genul ăsta. Și nu o să pot continua live. Ideea e că nu mai pot să mă uit la MrBeast, să mă uit eu singur, fără live. Nu este problemă. Na. Ne uităm la următorul. Deci se pare că MrBeast nu... N-ai voie să te uiți la MrBeast în live stream. Eu nici nu știu dacă am voie să mă uit la ceilalți sau nu am voie. Care e politica oare? Dacă știe cineva, vă rog să-mi ziceți și mie în comentarii sau cumva să aflu și eu. Dacă somehow I want to know. I really do. Right. So now why? Okay. What's going on here? Yo! Let's go, my friend! Okay. Something ain't right. Ok, acum e bine. Pot să văd și eu dacă îmi scrie cineva pe chat. 4 vizionări. Mai avem puțin până ajungem la 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Yay! I know how to count to 10. All right, so let's go with the forgotten atmosphere of Grand Theft Auto 3. So this is a very old game. Not very, but it's an old game. And I'll very much wanna see it. This video, right? So, change scene. And let's play.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm waiting.
There, right behind me at the 13-second mark of the trailer for the hit 2026 video game Grand Theft Auto 6 is one of the most mind-bogglingly detailed beaches I've ever seen in a video game. Just look at the number of people in frame. Look at the quality of the waves crashing down on the shore, not to mention the massive city in the background. I love this beach, but there's actually a beach I love even more from another Grand Theft Auto game. Check this out. Look at that. Right. This is a beach from the hit 2001 video game Grand Theft Auto 3, the very first Grand Theft Auto game to be fully 3D.
Wow. 2001. So that's 24 years, right?
This beach is a great example of what I like to call the forgotten atmosphere of Grand Theft Auto 3. Just look at how surreal and empty it is. It feels like being in a lucid dream, and the best part is, Grand Theft Auto 3 is full of places like this. So today, I want to take a journey across the entire game map and try to convince you why, even to this day, I don't think any other Grand Theft Auto game has quite replicated the strange beauty of Grand Theft Auto 3. We're going to be looking at 10 locations all across the map, and what better place to start this journey than all the way back at the beginning of the game. At the very start of Grand Theft Auto 3, the main character, who doesn't have a name and never speaks, escapes from a prison van, steals a car with his best friend, and drives all the way down here to a very odd apartment in a very unremarkable alley. This apartment serves as your home base for roughly the first third of the game,
boy.
but...
Wait. Not another problem. What is happening? It's not. I can see it very clearly. I'm over. It is not. It ain't like that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Unlike apartments you get in newer GTA games, this one actually serves a vital function. Coming back here is the only way to save your game. There's no autosave in this game, there's no quick save from the menu. Walking through this door is the only way to save the game, which means that no matter where you are on the map, when you stop playing, you have to come all the way back to this apartment before you turn the game off, or else whatever you did during that play session won't be saved. Now, atmospherically, this alley is pretty detailed considering that it came out in 2001. You've got signage showing that it's a warehouse for a used boiler supply company. There's some decent wall textures, vents with steam coming out. It's not bad looking, even technically, but not everywhere in this game has this level of detail. For example, heading south from that apartment, we find our...
Ok, trebuie să fac anunțul ăsta. Suntem la o oră de când am început streaming. Super, și avem 5 vizionări. 5 views. So, încă o oră și gata, nu?
ourselves just outside the gates of another one of my favorite spots in the game, the Dog Food Factory. This building is not enterable. It's basically a stage prop, just a plain rectangular building with a big clear sign telling you what it's supposed to be. But without that sign, you would have literally no idea. We could switch this sign for one that says linen cleaning service or tugboat engine manufacturing, and it wouldn't be any less believable because there are no other identifying details here. Now, in some ways, this is obviously less cool than the hyper-detailed industrial areas of a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, but there is a funny benefit you get when you make your buildings look so bad. When you put a sign on a plain, low-effort building, the game has to rely on your brain to fill in the gaps for what might be going on in and around it. And that means that for every single player, their emotional association with the building is going to be just a little bit different, and it's going to be personal. It's not a huge shift, it's not like it totally changes the experience, but leaving things a little more bare like this gives the player a few more footholds for the imagination. Like reading a book, right? Books don't have any graphics at all. You just have to make up the images in your brain. And I kind of like when video games do a little bit of that as well. It's like my second favorite thing in the world. But my first favorite thing in the world is... wait for it. Budgeting my money with Rocket Money. Welcome to the sponsorship. You know what I love about the app Rocket Money? I call it class. You can just ways to not any Austin to get started. Of the names. A mansion of the first chapter that you do a Rocket Money ad, and this is how you do a Grand Theft Auto 3 video. Towards the end of the first chapter of Grand Theft Auto 3, you will find yourself on the northeast corner of the map at a mansion owned by some sort of important Italian mobster. Can't remember any of these people's names. GTA 3 kind of keeps its story segments very fast and light, so you always kind of feel a little bit like an outsider to whatever gang politics are going on. Kind of a cool vibe, but it does mean I can't remember anybody's names. Now, the coolest part of this mansion is actually behind the mansion itself, where you'll find a huge yard with 3 lonely benches. These benches represent one of the most important aspects of any GTA game. Spots to think about your life and feel weird in between the missions. GTA 4 had these spots, GTA 5 had these spots, GTA 3 definitely has these spots, and this is one of them. Now, as far as the mansion itself, one thing that is interesting to me about Grand Theft Auto games is how they kind of treat the world like it's disposable. There are places like this mansion that play a critical role in the story and take on a kind of energetic significance while you're there, but as soon as the game moves on to the next area, they just leave these old places behind. They don't even go out of their way to make them feel abandoned, they just literally abandon them. I like this. I like the unapologetic video gameness of it, and the fact that the game doesn't feel the need to control every little moment to ensure that you don't see anything that might break your immersion. Newer GTA games do this as well, but GTA 5 is definitely stricter in terms of how they control for stuff like this. I often think of the tutorial mission in that game where you can't even walk, 10 feet off the side of the road before it just automatically ends. Why do they do that? I mean, I know why, obviously, because people would get lost and be confused and quit. But still, I wish they didn't. They should have a toggle. They should have a smart gamer toggle that I can toggle on where it says, I'm a smart gamer. I promise I won't quit just because I get lost. Also, if you go into the mansion, one of the only truly fully modeled enterable buildings in the entire game, you can hear somebody mysteriously playing piano behind a door. It's a little Easter egg for you. Anyway, that's it for the first island in the game. Let's continue on to the next. When you first head to the second island in the game, Staunton Island, you go to an apartment complex on the water that's home to a lady named Asuka, who the Grand Theft Auto Wiki lists as the tritagonist of the game. Apparently, a tritagonist is the third most important character in a story. Like how a protagonist is the most important, this is the third most important. I'll be honest, I don't think we needed a word for this, but, whatever. This apartment complex is another great example of a place that just gets left behind once the story no longer needs it. Once you've completed all the missions here, you're free to come back and jump around in the pool or just fake sit on the chairs. It's super nice, it's very odd, but my favorite detail is that the door to the apartment complex that Asuka lived in is still open just a little bit. So you can even look inside and kind of see what looks like a bed or some sort of bedroom that they reference in the cutscenes when they're trying to tell you what's happening in the game. As I said, the story, it seems very tightly written and pretty interesting if you read the summary on Wikipedia, but it actually isn't really staged in a comprehensible way in the context of the game. So all the places like these apartment buildings just end up feeling like strange memories of visiting a friend of a friend's house a long time ago, rather than firm places that you're super emotionally invested in. Not good, not bad, just a difference, right? A little ways inland from those apartment buildings, you're going to find something that I call the Labyrinth Alleys, and it should be immediately clear why. These alleyways are just next door to the ammunition. You can go down past this ballard here to get in there, and being in here feels like being in a strange dream. The blank high walls with the see-through newspapers blowing around and the little cutouts of the walls that don't seem to have any purpose. It wouldn't be fair to call this a maze necessarily, but it does feel like a maze when you're in it. Now, I assume places
Da, o stare nostalgică cumva, așa.
like this are just sort of an accident, or at least like an incident, right? Incidental, just a product of the fact that when you put a bunch of buildings in a place, sometimes those buildings will have space between them, and if you don't do anything with the space, it just remains as space, empty space. And the older the game is, the weirder those empty spaces tend to be, because old games have crude geometry and big broad strokes. It reminds me of a concept that my friend Eden told me about. Eden builds wood furniture by hand, and there's this concept when you're building wood furniture, like if you're building a dresser, that you use uglier wood and you don't put any details on the back side of a dresser because it's going to be up against a wall, never to be seen by anyone. And there's no shame in doing this. In fact, you might say there's shame in wasting time, energy, and resources on something that won't ever be seen when you could just build it faster and cheaper and better for the client without bothering. In woodworking, they call these back surfaces secondary surfaces. And it's not a new concept. It's been around for as long as woodworking has, probably. Games kind of have these secondary surfaces all over the place as well. And I think this alley is a great example of one. We've had plenty of videos in the past on this channel where we've looked at these kinds of places. So if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, obviously do that so you can remember to come back and check them out. My favorite one right now is the one we did on Cyberpunk. Plenty of weird places in that game. Anyway, we're heading all the way to the northern edge of the island to look at this next location, the Parkway. Right here, next to a weird military base where you can buy a rocket launcher, you'll see a nondescript sidewalk heading off around the corner and into the distance, sort of creating a walking parkway for people to enjoy. Here's a question for you. Where do you think this parkway ends? Like, think about it for just a second. What do you think the end of it looks like? You think it just connects to another sidewalk? Maybe it hits a wall? Or maybe it just stops in the middle of the grass? This question, among other things, is the beauty of roads and pathways like this. They start and they end. And when you're standing at the start, you don't necessarily know where they end, but you do know that they end. And I like that a lot. Walking along this pathway, there are lots of cool things to see. First,
Yeah. Existential crisis.
First, this area is great because it blocks the view of the city, meaning you're in one of the few spots in the game Grand Theft Auto 3 that feels totally secluded from Grand Theft Auto 3. And what I mean by that is like, it's how if you have a layover at the London airport, you don't tell people you've been to London, right? The airport is like a secluded, separate spot from what we think of as the idea of London. Same thing applies here, right? This is in GTA 3, but it's not really the GTA 3 idea that you normally think about, and I really like that. There's also this incredibly steep path leading back up to the street above, serving as an alternate entrance to this little park. Another offshoot goes down to some docks that jut out into the bay, offering you yet another great place to stare out over some water and get emotional. The more of those we have, the better. And then if we follow it just a bit farther, we can see how the pathway actually ends. It just does, in the middle of the grass. You don't see this very often in real life since, the point of a paved walking path is to go from one place to another. But occasionally, if the location that the path was going to, gets demolished, you might find it. And if you have one in your city, send me a picture. I want to see it. I love paths that just stop. Pop quiz. Do you know where the beginning and the end of the nearest parkway to your house is? Think of the nearest parkway if you have one. Or just a path. Do you know where it begins? Do you know where it ends? If not, might be time to go for a walk. The last place I want to look at on Staunton Island is pretty nondescript, but it's a personal favorite of mine, Liberty Campus. The thing I like about Liberty Campus is that it's missing a lot of detail. It obviously does kind of look like a college campus, but it's so bare bones that if they didn't tell you it was a school, you might not register it just by walking through. There's a real lack of props like benches, trash cans, and light posts, and a lot of the buildings don't even have doors on them, so it ends up feeling like a cardboard college instead of an actual place, which is great. It's loosely based on the campus at Columbia University, and if you put up a side-by-side comparison, you can kind of see it. They even have a quad that you can hang out on. At least I think it's a quad. I dropped out of community college, so the word quad doesn't mean anything to me really, but I believe it just means big grass place. Like with the dog food factory from earlier, there's something fun about having a large, important institution like a college appear in a game as nothing more than just like a background prop. There's a similar feeling with there's like this big city hall building in the game, or the hospitals. Stuff like that just makes, I don't know, it makes me happy for some reason. The last island in Grand Theft Auto 3 is an island called Shoreside Vale, and the first location that I want to take a look at up here is the single-family homes. Single-family homes in open-world games are always fascinating to me, because in real cities and suburbs, they can take up huge amounts of space, but in a video game, it feels like the goal is always to make them as small as possible without breaking the illusion that you're in a real city, because these areas generally don't have anything to do. They're just places for people to live, and video games don't have human beings that need places to live, so including them is just a big boring place. This is the only area in GTA 3 with single-family homes, and it takes up about 5% of the playable map area, which is significantly less than the amount of land that's zoned for single-family homes in real New York City, at least according to this out-of-date chart from the New York Times, which puts it closer to 15%. Now, this isn't really a perfect comparison because technically this area of the game might count more as New Jersey than New York, and obviously the scale is totally messed up. This is literally 7 houses is the entire residential area, but it's neat to think about how developers choose to bend the size and scope of different neighborhoods to balance realism, immersion, and gameplay. Some of the houses here have creepy pools in the back. They all have backyards that you can hang out in for no reason. All of them are incredibly still and feel very weird, and the one all the way on the end of the block is a significant location for the final mission of the game, but at this point I've already beaten the game, so it just sits here empty and inaccessible. It's interesting to think about that, actually. Of the 7 houses that are here, only one of them is part of a mission. The other 6 are just empty props for you to drive by, like the background objects in a racing game, which I guess is true. Like 90% of objects in a Grand Theft Auto game are just meant to be looked at from a car, which is weird. Another video, some other day. Anyway, before we get to the end of this video, I do want to throw out a few honorable mentions of places that I really love. These are places that are super cool, but probably would have overlapped a lot with things we already talked about, so I'm just going to rattle them off one at a time. Number 1, the supermarket. This supermarket is awesome. It's in a really weird, creepy corner. There's never anyone that comes here. It never looks open. It's like very difficult to access by car, which makes it feel really strange because we're used to supermarkets in real life being like the most eminently accessible places in the world, and this one isn't. Number 2, the cemetery. This cemetery is tucked away in a weird alleyway in downtown Manhattan. I don't know why. The vibes here are just crazy, and I love them. I like how flat and weird all the gravestones are, and I just really love that it's in an alley behind a church. Maybe this is real. Maybe real New York actually has this. I don't know. William, put up a picture of real New York Cemetery if there is one. Number 3, the stadium. This is a giant football stadium next to the campus. It is just a big giant building, but I noticed that if you kind of jump near the entrance, you can almost see into it, even though none of the missions in the game allow you to go inside. I did eventually download a free cam mod for this game, so I was able to get a peek inside, so you can see that behind me right now. Very cool. Number 4, this is not going to surprise anyone, but it's the airport. I think I'm going to do a video all about the airports in Grand Theft Auto games soon, so I'm not going to go into detail, but just know I love this airport. And then the 5th and final honorable mention is the big giant dam. I just love giant pieces of infrastructure, especially in old games, because they're weird and creepy and flat, and they're fun to just walk around on. It feels a little bit like trespassing, and it feels like a giant waste of time to go here, and so obviously I just like walking around there. It's cool. The very last place that I want to look at in GTA 3 is here, the absolute western edge of the map. This place is huge, empty, and totally irrelevant to anything you would do during a normal playthrough of the game. In some ways, it's kind of like the flip side to the beach we looked at right at the beginning. Getting here actually feels a little bit strange because it's sort of behind a lot of the infrastructure that you're used to being around in the game. It's behind the dam, it's behind the airport, it's behind the city. There are no buildings or objects or even really any trees up here, and there's absolutely nothing to do. But the thing that's so special about this place to me is that if you come here, it means you had to choose to come here. It's the type of place that you only actually experience if you're exploring for the sake of exploring. A lot of the time that we spend with video games is focused on the destination rather than the journey, right? It's just a whole lot of quests and objectives and bosses to beat and stories to see the end of. But one of the things I like about GTA 3, and this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not. One of the things I like about it is that it's so repetitively designed and so disrespectful of the player's time that the only way to really enjoy it is to take a breath, turn on the radio in the car, and listen to Push It to the Limit for the 100th time while driving back and forth across the city hundreds and hundreds of times because you can't save without going home. And if you die in a mission, you have to start all the way back where you started and drive all the way there again. And it's only once you get into that mindset where you kind of let go that you might actually find yourself up here in a place like this, looking out over the creepy flat ocean, seeing a weird giant cloud float by, and just enjoying a little moment between yourself and this wonderful experience that a bunch of people put together for you. You know, is GTA 3 a perfect video game? Yes. Every game is perfect. All of them. I'm Annie Austin.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Sigur.
Look at this map.
Da. Dacă vreți să-l vedeți pe băiatul ăsta, e fain. Ok, mai departe. Gameplay video Ananta. Hai să vedem. Nice.
That's him! That's our target!
Huh. You jokers again?
This time you're not getting away!
Don't you guys have anything better to do?
Everyone dogpile! Let's show him the black metal crew means business! I'll pound you into the pavement!
Could you guys at least try not to come off so desperate? What do you guys really want?
Our boss wants to hold a concert in the old city. There a problem with that?
Can't you just book a stadium like everyone else?
A dinky stadium couldn't possibly handle the majesty of the boss's rock show!
Okay, then how about a beach concert?
Surround him!
Mi-amintește de un joc care tot așa avea cu mâinile, dar nu mi-aduc aminte cum se numea. Și e mai vechi, mult mai vechi. Era chiar înainte, cred că, de Assassin's Creed să apară sau prin zona aia de timp. Dar nu mai știu cum se numea. În orice caz, te puteai cățăra pe clădiri, să sari, tot așa, îți ieșeau din mâini diverse chestii. Dar era interesant. Dar nu mai știu cum se numește. Acum nu vine deloc.
Don't just stand there! Gang up on him!
Aim for the tires. Help them deflate. Well done. Another one. They're coming out of the woodwork.
I see him.
It's all you.
Gonna need to borrow this. Hey, quit hurling stuff, would ya? Your aim's terrible anyway.
Bam!
Hi there.
Salut!
Strike. Riddance. Hey, you good?
Ok, asta e destul de interesant. Destul de fain. Da, da. Mai departe. Zack King's Best Magic Video. Aici cred că o lăsăm un pic mai jos ca să ne uităm tot la ceva.
And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, and today we're talking about Ghost of Yotei. This is the follow up to Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima, which was a pretty kick ass game. You might not call it a sequel because here it's like a completely new adventure. It's in a different part of Japan.
Atențiune, îmi dau ochelarii jos. Dar acum o să vă arăt ceva. Pentru cei care se uită, nu uitați să dați subscribe. Da? Cam așa se vede. Hai să dau. Așa. Deci nu uitați să dați subscribe. Hei! Dă subscribe! Astea-s de prins screen-uri. Da, ok. M-am jucat. Cum să-i lăsăm noi? Așa? Nu, dar nu se văd. Punem aici, așa. Merge. Nu merge. Lasă acolo, așa. Bun. Okay. Dat ochelarii jos că începea să mă doară pe aici, așa. Ăștia, în schimb, dacă i-aș lua pe ăștia, deja devin mult mai intelect. Parcă văd prin altă sferă. Scuze, prin alte sfere. Dar nu sunt sfere, că sunt cercuri. Știți, sferele sunt 3D. Astea sunt doar niște cercuri. Prin alte cercuri. Da. Hai, să urmărim. Îi dau și pe ăștia jos. Da, domne, ăștia sunt ochii mei. După o oră și 20 de minute meritați și voi să-mi vedeți ochii. Merit și eu, că probabil video ăsta o să-l văd numai eu și o să fac o referință în viitor. Voi avea eu vreun 1.000.000, 2 milioane de subscriberi, așa. Și o să fac referință la primul meu video de pe acest canal. stream, live stream. Și o să-mi aduc eu aminte de treaba asta. Și că ajutați-mi să ajung mai repede acolo.
Japan in a different time period and a new main character. But it very much is the continuation of the gameplay ideas of Ghost of Tsushima. So I'll say that right off the jump. This is a bigger, meaner sequel. More to do, more cool stuff, more action, more world, more story. But it's not quite the smack in the face, holy cow, that the original Tsushima was. Like, it doesn't quite hit as hard the second time around. If you were looking for a complete revolution, a complete overhaul, you don't really get that here. It's more Ghost of Tsushima, but not in a bad way. Don't get me twisted. When I say more, I mean a lot more is put in here. And if you just wanted more, you might dig this, because I certainly have been. And the usual housekeeping, just so you know, I've been playing a review copy, and this footage was captured running on a PS5 Pro, and it is completely spoiler-free. I show some of the region biomes, but some of that discovery is half the fun, so I tried to keep it limited, and all the cutscenes are very early or small.
Mamă, și imaginile astea, așa, cu culorile astea. Da. Cum bate vântul printre frunze virtuale.
All side stuff. Yote takes place in the northern region of Japan, Ezo. You play as Atsu, a woman out for revenge after her...
Da, cromatica jocului e foarte bună. Foarte bună. Adică da, au ținut cont de culori complementare și adică tu uite cum e fundalul, da, totul așa ruginiu, da, e toamnă și are un fular turcoaz și marou care le îmbină nu, foarte cromatic, foarte, foarte bine, foarte bine.
Her family was murdered.
E un joc foarte artistic, estetic și frumos, cu un simț deosebit.
Child by a group of murderous dudes called the Yote Six, each one unique and identifiable in typical, kind of predictable video game boss fashion. Now you then set out as adult Atsu to murder all these guys. She's out for revenge and she's a brute. She's not a samurai like Jin Sakai, concerned with honor and like the ways of the culture and the balance. She's just a mercenary, so she fights a bit different. She uses different weapons and different gadgets, and even interacts with the world and people differently. Now, both protagonists are considered ghosts by their world, but where Jin Sakai, to me, was kind of like a Batman, here Atsu is a bit more like a Boba Fett. A more anonymous, shrewd bounty hunter focused on only the mission, but they'll occasionally surprise you. I'm talking like, obviously people think Boba Fett sucks after Return of the Jedi when he instantly dies. I'm not talking about that. Maybe not the best comparison, but I'm rolling with it. Look, structurally, the game is different from the last game, and it's probably one of the bigger departures. So Yote is.
Deci până și cartonașul ăla, ce frumos era cu cerneala aia neagră și cum se vedea splash-ul ăla de roșu peste. Da, foarte frumos estetic. Uite, până și cadrul ăsta așa. Chiar te duce cu gândul așa la o miriște.
Extremely non-linear, and it gives you all these Yote 6 targets that you can at least kind of pursue in whatever order you want. You're going to get clues as you progress, and you can kind of choose which clues and which information to pursue. And it happens in some pretty interesting and organic ways. It doesn't really feel like it's a video game just blasting stuff in your face and pointing you in the next direction. It's kind of more slow, like information gathering as you progress through these lands. Now, as a storytelling experiment, it is really nice to see Sucker Punch's good storytelling chops work well here. Even if the game is filled with like non-linear story progression and an endless amount of open world distractions, even more so this time, the game still manages to like do a great job staying focused.
Da, dar asta s-a cerut de la cel de dinainte. S-a cerut o mai mare libertate, să poți să te duci, să explorezi mai mult. În ăla n-avea atâta libertate, te ținea pe drumul, pe traseu. Și nu cred că e ceva rău. Eu cred că sunt pe drumul cel bun. Probabil pe la al treilea sau al patrulea joc o să fie ceva foarte bun.
On the core mission. It's hard for me to explain how, but you just never lose sight of what the overall plot is. The last game did that well through, really thoughtful side quests and activities design, and that's even more the case here. And you can tell it's trickier because there's a lot more freedom with like how things progress. Plus, I was pretty skeptical of the Yote 6 thing because I feel like the here are all the bosses, go out and kill them, they're all weird and they all have their own thing. That's been done like to death at this point in video games, but they managed to make it feel different and interesting. It's not half-assed, and it really picks up after quite a few hours. Some of it is predictable, which might bum some folks out, but the presentation and performances, I think, really elevated it. There's a lot more action and a lot of cool big action set pieces, and even better than last time, the game does a good job of blending what's a side quest and what's a real main quest, because there's a lot of variety, and even some of the smaller activities, it all just feels handcrafted. Unfortunately, there is still just like a lot of the same following foxes and following birds, which disappointingly feels like a lot like more of the same. But then on the flip side, at least I'll say there are some stronger side quests here. Good stuff, many of which I completed, and I found myself going, damn, I could have just walked past that. Combat this time around builds off of what came before it. It's still the same type of combat. It's not the most difficult combat in the world, but it can be really fun and satisfying. The perfect parry clangs, man, those feel so damn good and badass to pull off still. Doing face-offs and duels and chopping dudes' arms off still doesn't get old. Katana weapon stances are out here. That's it. And that really threw me off, to be honest. But it's replaced with different weapons. So more moves, more situational combat awareness is kind of needed, where you choose a weapon stance for a certain type of enemy with a certain type of weapon. Now you choose an entirely different weapon type against an enemy's weapon type. And they all feel fairly different. Katana, dual katana, odachi, spear. It makes for some good fun, especially because they all have their own nuances and their own spirit abilities and their own skill trees. What I enjoyed even more about this was facing off against enemies that would switch their weapons on the fly, meaning you do the same to counteract them in kind of like a game of weapon, rock, paper, scissors. It's good stuff. It's still brutal, it's still bloody, and like I said, it's not the most difficult combat system in the world, but there is a good, deep level of mastery to it, and when you're really locked into it, it can feel great. Ranged weapons are still here, with tweaked arrow types, as well as early firearms. Also some really cool, useful throwables like fire bombs that, like, while similar to last time, still managed to feel really different here. And a nice burst of dirt to distract enemies mid-fight, a couple other things that really work well. Stealth, once again, doesn't really feel great at the start. It's pretty simple stuff. But like last time, it gets much stronger as the game progresses and you get better tools. Sometimes, depending on how you play though, you could end up going a long time without some useful stuff. So just keep that in mind. Really look around, really evaluate where you pursue things. You also get access to a cool wolf, like more and more over time. It kind of starts as a random occurrence, and it can be earned as a new game mechanic through exploring and pursuing side objectives. And the wolf is really awesome in a fight. It can save you as a kind of last stand mechanic. It can be summoned, and it has its own dedicated skill tree, and everything does, really. Armor and cosmetic progression is the same as the last game. There's a lot of ways to look in this game, like from a Ronin badass to a brute warrior to like a stealth person, like all that is here. And then of course there's still a photo mode to soak that all in too. You can camp anywhere and craft throwables and ammo. You can cook food for some buffs. And what I do like is that like the bow person, the armor person, and a map person for certain things, like they can actually come to you occasionally when you camp, and you can sort out your business then and there. It's not as much of a game changer as they kind of hyped it to be, but it is a nice touch, and the game just has a lot of those. Like Tsushima, it's just a kind of chill, contemplative game at times, with side objectives like the bird and fox stuff I mentioned earlier, but also the hot springs return and engaging in art. Haikus are out, but now Atsu paints landscape paintings through these chill little mini games, and also she can play her shamisen as opposed to a flute, and it's a little bit more involved. Tsushima touched upon the mythical elements, the fantastical stuff here and there, and Yote continues that and does a bit more in some interesting ways I'm not going to spoil. The world feels significantly bigger this time around, though. The sense of scale and variety seems like a massive upgrade. Grasslands and fields are vast. Mountains are huge. And it helps just feel like a massively bigger world that you slowly piece together, following the wind to the next thing, but also getting distracted and just going on vibes. So that leads me to that. The game is gorgeous. The HDR implementation is great. The color palette is insane. And the foliage and atmospheric effects, they really are worth seeing in real time. Like, I'm not trying to be like a shill hype man or anything, but this game, like mainly environmental more than anything, looks incredible. It has high frame rate, high resolution, and ray tracing features or options, and it can do the ray tracing with 60 FPS on PS5 Pro. But with performance on base PS5, it also seems to run well. My only issues that I encountered overall in many, many hours was a glitch where my horse wouldn't spawn, which was fixed upon restart and only happened once. A little bit of clipping with clothing and stuff like that. Like some of the armor sets have little clipping issues with a cape or a sword poking through. And the occasional like lighting flickering glitch that was kind of annoying. Very sparingly though. Otherwise, pretty smooth sailing from my naked eye, at least. Also, the music is top tier. I actually think it might have topped the last game. The score, from like big to small and ambient exploration music, like all of it is really fantastic.
You're stalling!
Never made so much coin. Let's test your speed.
I've fought worse than you.
It can't be!
So it's an additive sequel. Like I said, it's Ghost of Tsushima, but way, way more packed on top of it. It's an upgrade, but there's some subjectivity to that. You might like the switch to multiple weapons, or you might miss the sole focus on the katana. You might like Atsu, or you might sorely miss Jin Sakai. You might have wanted more Ghost gameplay, more of that, or maybe you wanted a bigger step forward, a real evolution and departure. Kind of like how they did with the main character, at least here. Either way, it's going to be down to like what you want. What can I say for me personally? I was a bit skeptical, but I very quickly became heavily addicted to the game. Just like I was hooked on Ghost of Tsushima, and that's what I was hoping for. Much like that game, Yote gets better the more time you put into it. The gameplay gets better and more empowering, and the story gets more dramatic. And there are some incredible performances here. The game, once again, can pull off effective storytelling, great direction, and moments that make you actually, I don't know, feel something, feel some emotion. Did I love the story as much as the first game? Not quite. It's a matter of taste. It's up to you, but it didn't top it for me personally. But it is still a hell of a lot of fun. Pretty simple video, honestly. More than I expected before I jumped in and started making it. But hey, that's a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours. There are a lot of opinions about this one already, so let me know what you're thinking, but also let me know what you think about the original Ghost of Tsushima. I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent, but like towards the later half of the game when it really picked up, that's when I truly fell in love. And then 100%ing it, that's when I realized it was like one of my favorite games. Let me know if you feel the same about the original. Let me know if you're looking forward to playing this new one. Either way, hit us up. And if you like this video and maybe it helped you out, maybe informed you at all, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us out and we appreciate it. If you're new, consider subscribing because we put out videos every single day, man. But as always...
Da, chiar așa. Nu uitați să dați subscribe. Uite aici. Ce? Se vede? Așa? Mai așa? Da. Ok. Next. Next. Știu ce va fi next. Next o să vă las 5 minute cu Bugs Bunny. De fapt cu Daffy Duck. Și revin.
The world supply of alludium Fosdex, the shaving cream atom, is alarmingly low. Now, we have reason to believe that the only remaining source is on Planet X, somewhere in this area.
And you want me to find Planet...
Nu s-a întrerupt. Stați numai un pic. Încerc să mai pun o scenă în... Sper să meargă. Încerc să mai pun o scenă în care să vedeți numai ecranul ăsta. Și atunci să fac așa... Și... Ok, și display. Da, exact. Da, ăsta. Gata! Iată! Bun, și îl mutăm aici. Da. Și îl și redenumim. Îi spunem scenă. Ok. E bine și așa. Deci, am pus Daffy Duck și... Daffy Duck, da, Mega Compilation. Da, Daffy Duck. Dacă v-am stropit, îmi cer scuze. Deci, Daffy Duck. Rămâneți cu el. Ta-da!
Planet X. Is that it?
Can you do it, Dodgers?
Oh, indubitably, sir. Because there's no one knows his way around outer space like Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century. Are you ready, eager young space cadet?
I'm all set, your heroship, sir.
Then make way for Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century. Oops, had the silly thing in reverse. And now then, eager young space cadet, here is the course we shall pursue to find Planet X. Starting from where we are, we go 33,600 turbo miles due up. Then west in an astro-arc deviation to here. Then, following the Great Circle, 7 radio loops south by down east. By Astrobo to here, here, and here. Then by Space Navigo Compass to here, here, and then to here, and here. By 13-point stratocumulus bearing 4 million light years, and thus to our destination. Now, do you know how to reach Planet X?
Yeah, oh, sure.
Well, I wish you'd explain it to me sometime, Buster.
Well, it's very simple, sir. If we follow those planets, we can't very well miss Planet X.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Of all the